Sounds like it's been a long thinking day today. You guys ever been put in a position where somebody wants you to do something but you're not sure if you can actually do it, and so you debate whether or not you should go through with it because you don't want to make everyone look bad if you can't actually do what they requested you to do, if that makes sense? Maybe I'll talk about that a little later. Comment about the DJI and the consumer protection laws in Canada. I think I mentioned this before, but I don't think I qualify for any type of consumer protection laws in Canada because none of the transactions or anything actually takes place here. Like, for example, I bought the drone when it very first came out. That's directly from them in China, and the repair here is in California. So if I was to ever even think of the idea of using those kinds of platforms to hold DJI accountable, wouldn't you have to do it in the home state or the home country and all that? Although honestly, doing that, going that far, I don't know if I'd have the energy, time, and resources to actually do something like that. If I was in a different type of position, then yeah, but I would assume here it'll take way too long. It's one of those a corporation can drown it out if they want to in that case. I'd rather just use, again, the documentation and all that just to show what it's like. But in like the future, someone is going to go through with something like that, and for some reason they need some documentation to see, hey, it's not a coincidence, then be my guest. But so far, based on those messages, it sounds like they are actually progressing with some progress, right guys? We just have to wait and see. Again, it's the weekend, so I'm assuming, again, no contact during these times. We'll have to wait and see on Monday to see if they actually react or not. Speaking about DJI too, did you guys read this one? It said, Australian military drone supplier warns of likely Chinese cyber backdoor in DJI quadcopters. So from what I gather, it says, it's kind of like what they said in the US, they feel that their drones have a lot of security holes. Now I remember with the US Army situation, it has something to do with the software and the data. They were afraid it's going to be compromised in some way. I thought it was more along the lines of it's open for anyone to access for whatever reason, like there's a hole there. But this one says the CEO of an Australian company that supplies the ADF with US made drones has warned the Chinese government has access to a secret key to break DJI's encryption. That's kind of scary to think about, isn't it? Where even though a company says their product is fully secure, and if there's another person, like in this case, according to this anyways, if the government has the keys and the ability just to break it anyways, then it's pretty much not secure, correct? Well, it's kind of crazy to think about. At the same time, I don't know if it's propaganda because it said a supplier of drones, so I would assume most people want to say bad things about their competitors too. At the same time, that doesn't sound too far-fetched. Does it make you more afraid of using drones like that? Or do you not care because if you fly for personal reasons, it doesn't matter? I just know for things like military and stuff like that, I'm always surprised when they don't use their own products. There was one here, it says, number of drone sightings near Quebec Detention Center has skyrocketed. It says statistics recently released by Quebec's public security minister indicates that the use of drones by people seeking to sneak contraband to criminals in Quebec jail has grown exponentially over the last 5 years. Maybe I've been reading too many stories of drones, but when I read stuff like this now, I'm inclined to say, well, what does it mean ultimately? Is there any difference between someone trying to conceal stuff within like a bag of goods or something like that? It actually makes me think of a regular person who doesn't read that much about drones all the time or desensitized to these type of news right now as well. Or we think, no, they're still in that hysteria stage, so more of this is even more reason to say, ban them all. So with that situation earlier, how do I explain it? Let's try to use some generic examples. Let's pretend there was somebody who had to fulfill something for a company and they basically got a contract for that, let's just say, I don't know, just building a house or something like that. And they're like, okay, good, you'll do all the work. And so they basically needed help to do that. So they couldn't find anybody. Let's say they came up to you. Now for you, you don't think you necessarily have all of the necessary skills to do what they want in that professional level. So for you, it's like, yeah, it's better not to. But then the person insists, like, come on, like, you know, try doing it and all that. Because obviously for them, they already had the agreement with the other company. So in that situation, would you actually get involved in there still? Or would you say, no, I better not, because you don't think you have like the right skills and everything to actually do it? I don't know, it's kind of the situation I found myself in a few times actually this past few weeks. Makes me wonder what other people would do in situations like that. To me anyway, that situation is kind of tricky because I know some people would say, well, whatever, that guy said he wanted to use you, so even though you told him clear up you couldn't do it and they still bring you or want you to do it or whatever, then that's on them, not you. But at the same time, I always think, isn't that a reflection of you as well? Like if you can't actually do the job that in the end, what they kind of want to see, that does not make you look bad as well. So it's kind of like a tricky situation there, I thought. One of those, which path will you take? That's what it seemed like anyways. Well, but I think again, I've been overworking myself this past few days. Since my head feels like a blurry mess from doing all that work, how about that time when I filmed the drone footage in the dark just trying to test the ISO and everything looks so blurry? Alright, see you guys later.